Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Cooking with Bach in Bach's Kitchen. Today we're going to make ginger beer. And if you like Moscow Mule or Kentucky Mule, this is a fantastic way to have fun. It's very easy to make ginger beer. You just have to have 2 or 3 days to get it fermented and make the carbon dioxide, the gas that make the fizz. Equipment you're going to need to make ginger beer is a pot. I have this a stainless steel pot, a strainer, a funnel, a juicer, large glass jar. I have here some gallon jar, and bottles that you're going to store your ginger beer later on. You can buy these bottles on Amazon or any kind of brewery supply places. It's just a bottle, a glass bottle that with a stopper. This one, I got it from a local brewery. We bought some beer, and I saved that because it can be resealed, or simply an empty wine bottle. Just remember to clean these very thoroughly and pour hot water into it to sterilize it. So the ingredients for the ginger beer are fresh ginger root, active dry yeast, lime, sugar, and filtered water. You're going to first make the ginger simple syrup, which is water, sugar, and crushed ginger. First, you wash the ginger. You want the skin on, so don't peel them. The amount of ginger that you want to use, it's up to whether or not you like spicy, strong ginger or not strong ginger. For our family, we like the strong ginger taste, so I got 2 nice root of ginger. And what I do, I just chop up, cut into chunks, and I have this thing that we use to make individual smoothie. I just use that, put the ginger in it, kind of fill it up. Extra one, I'll use it later, and then pour some water in it. Close it up. And swoosh it up. Simple. If you don't have this, you can use a food processor or just chop it up. So I pour this into the pan. This is about a quart of water. And I'm putting in a cup and a half of sugar. The amount of sugar is depending on whether or not you like sweet or not sweet ginger beer. Take this over to the stove and cook it for about 10 minutes until the sugar is dissolved, and then you let it sit to seep the ginger through and also cool off the simple syrup, the ginger simple syrup. This is how the simple syrup should look like whenever it's cooked and done. It's kind of clear. You can see, it's clear, and it's about 210 degrees. I'm going to strain the simple syrup to remove the ginger bits out of it into the glass jar and let it cool off before I add the yeast and a lemon to it, lime juice. Squeeze out as much of the syrup that from the mixture as you can, and you can save the ginger to cook other things. So that's the ginger simple syrup that I just made. Let it cool, or you can add ice to it to speed up the process. So I add enough ice to make to cool off the simple syrup to about 104, 105 degree F. You want to make sure that your yeast is alive. So to do that, you put some water in a bowl, heat it up to about 110 to 114 degree F. Add half a teaspoon of sugar. And for this recipe, half a teaspoon of yeast, sprinkle on top of it, and stir. See? You sprinkle the yeast on top and stir, and let it sit for like 10 minutes to see whether or not it foams. If it foams, that means that the yeast is alive. Yeast or bacteria. I have 2 lime here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grate the rind of it. So I grate it and collect the zest of 1 lime and squeeze the juice out of both. I only use 2 lime, but if you like it more tart, then you can add more lime. Also, when I make the Moscow Mule, I squeeze extra lime into the drink, so I don't need to add the lime right now. This is just to flavor. So I'm going to top it off with filtered water. Leave about an inch of airspace so that the bubble can escape. Okay. Let's check the yeast, and it's bubbling. That means they are alive, and you can use them. So what I do, I just add it to the juice, give it a good stir. We are going to cover the jar up with some saran wrap. The reason I'm doing this is so that if the carbon dioxide gas get formed, it it builds up pressure, and if the pressure is too much, don't do this, then it can break your jar. So I tie it up with chef's twine to hold it down. The plastic wrap is not very strong. So I put the ginger beer in my pantry and wait, but you need to check it every day. We come back whenever it's ready. So we taste the juice and see whether or not it's sweet to our taste or not, and just adjust it. Now this thing is ready to be bottled. Get a funnel and pour it into the bottle. Remember to leave some room on top for the gas that's going to be formed to escape. These bottle has been sanitized with hot water. So all the bottles have been filled with the ginger beer. You got to let it sit for outside at room temperature for another day or so, and then put it in the refrigerator. Once a day, you would try to let out the gas that's building up and explode the bottle. So you open it, let it settle, and open it again. Just be patient with it so that you do not lose any. So basically what I do is I put pressure on the seal and let it out, very gently. It's a lot of carbonation. What's happening in here is a reaction. The bacteria is breaking down the sugar into alcohol, and it releases carbon dioxide, CO2. And that's what makes the fizz, and also you're going to have some alcohol in it. So that's good enough, and then you go for the other one too. You can hear that pop, can't you? It's a lot of energy stored up in it. And so you have to be very, very careful. So I think this ginger beer is ready to be put into the refrigerator, and the cold temperature would stop the fermentation. So to make a Moscow Mule, you're going to need some ginger beer, mint, vodka, lime, and crushed ice. You're going to need the mud to muddle, which means crushing the mint. Squeeze half a lime into the cup. Add some vodka to it. You have to open the ginger beer bottle that you made, and do it gently because you're going to have a lot of fizz coming out. You can see that it's coming up, and what you need to do is put some pressure on top so it's good. And you fill about a cup of ginger beer into the mug. Stir it up and fill it up with ice. There you go, a Moscow Mule with homemade ginger beer. So cheers. If you have enjoyed this video, please subscribe. I will provide you with the recipe to make the ginger beer and the Moscow Mule in the description of this video.